Have you ever heard the saying, Attar has traversed the 7 cities of love? We are still at the turn of one street? These words, spoken by the great poet Rumi, were about a man who walked the earth centuries before him, a master whose wisdom continues to echo through the ages. Today, we journey back to 12th century Persia to explore the life and legacy of Farid ad-Din Attar of Nishapur, one of the most profound mystical poets the world has ever known. Born around 1145 in the vibrant city of Nishapur, a hub of culture and learning in what is now modern-day Iran, Attar grew up during the Islamic Golden Age. But before he became a legendary poet, he was something quite different. His name, Attar, literally means perfumer or apothecary. He was a pharmacist, a seller of herbs, spices, and remedies. His shop was more than just a place of business. It was a crossroads of humanity. Day after day, he met people from every walk of life, the rich, the poor, the joyful, the suffering. Listening to their stories and tending to their ailments, Attar gained an incredibly deep understanding of the human condition. He saw firsthand the struggles, the hopes, and the spiritual yearning that connect us all. This daily interaction with people became the foundation for his later spiritual insights. Legend has it that a pivotal moment transformed him from a successful pharmacist into a wandering mystic. One day, a dervish, a holy man, came to his shop and gazed at his worldly goods. The dervish sighed, saying he had nothing to worry about leaving behind but his simple cloak. He then challenged Attar, asking how he, surrounded by so much wealth, would ever be able to face death. Shaken to his core, Attar realized the truth in the dervish's words. He gave up his profession, distributed his wealth, and embarked on a profound spiritual quest, dedicating the rest of his life to Sufism, the mystical path of Islam. This new path led him to create some of the most enduring spiritual allegories ever written. His most famous work is The Conference of the Birds, or Mantiq al-Tayr. It is a breathtaking epic poem that tells the story of thousands of birds who set out on a perilous journey to find their true king, the mythical Simurgh. The birds represent individual human souls, each with their own excuses, fears, and attachments that hold them back. They are guided by the wise Hupu, who represents the spiritual master. The journey takes them through 7 valleys. The valley of the quest, the valley of love, the valley of insight, the valley of detachment, the valley of unity, the valley of bewilderment, and finally the valley of poverty and annihilation. Each valley represents a stage of spiritual purification, a stripping away of the ego. Many birds perish along the way, unable to overcome their limitations. In the end, only 30 birds survive the grueling journey. When they finally reach the court of the Simurgh, they are met with a stunning revelation. There's no king on a throne. Instead, they see their own reflection in a great mirror. They realize that the divine king they sought was within them all along. The name Simurgh itself is a clever play on words in Persian. Si means 30, and morg means birds. The 30 birds discovered that they, together, were the Simurgh. It is a powerful metaphor for the Sufi concept that the divine is not an external entity to be found, but an inner reality to be realized through self-annihilation and unity. But The Conference of the Birds was just one of Attar's many masterpieces. He was a prolific writer. Another of his monumental works is the Tadkirat al-Awliya, or Memorial of the Saints, is a vast prose collection of biographies and sayings of nearly 100 early Sufi saints and mystics. To compile it, Attar traveled extensively, gathering stories and wisdom that had been passed down through generations. This book isn't just a historical record, it's a guide. Each story is a lesson in faith, humility, and divine love. It has served as a primary source of inspiration and guidance for seekers on the Sufi path for centuries, preserving the spiritual heritage of early Islamic mysticism. Through his poetry and prose, Attar explored the deepest questions of existence. He wrote about the soul's passionate, almost painful, longing for union with the divine. His style is both direct and deeply symbolic, using simple stories to convey complex spiritual truths. He often used the imagery of the lover and the beloved, the wine and the tavern, not in a literal sense, but as metaphors for the intoxicating, all-consuming love for God. He taught that the path to truth requires stripping away the ego, transcending reason, and embracing a state of divine madness or selfless love. It's a path of annihilation, of losing oneself to find the self. Attar's influence on those who came after him is immeasurable. As we mentioned at the beginning, the great Jalal al-Din Rumi held him in the highest esteem. In fact, there's a beautiful story that when Rumi was just a boy, his family was fleeing their home and passed through Nishapur. His father took him to meet the elderly Attar. The old master, seeing the spiritual potential in the young boy, gifted him a copy of one of his books and prophesied that he would one day set fire to the lovers of God and the world. Rumi later acknowledged Attar as his master and a primary source of his inspiration, building upon the foundations that Attar had laid. The end of Attar's life is as dramatic as his writings. He lived to an old age, and his life came to a tragic end during the Mongol invasion of Persia in the early 13th century. Around the year 1221, Genghis Khan's armies swept through Nishapur, laying waste to the great city. According to the traditional account, Attar was captured by a Mongol soldier. Another person offered the soldier 1,000 pieces of silver for the elderly poet. Attar told his captor not to accept the offer, saying, "My true worth is far greater than that." Later, a simple peasant offered a bundle of straw for Attar. This time, Attar told the soldier to accept, saying, "That is all I am worth in this world." Enraged by what he perceived as an insult, the soldier killed him on the spot. Whether this story is historically exact or a legend, it perfectly encapsulates Attar's teachings: the ultimate detachment from worldly value and the embrace of spiritual humility. Though his physical life ended in violence, his spiritual legacy was just beginning. His tomb in Nishapur is still a place of pilgrimage for admirers from all over the world. Today, Attar's words continue to resonate with seekers of all faiths and backgrounds. His poetry transcends cultural and religious boundaries, speaking directly to the universal human quest for meaning, love, and connection to something greater than ourselves. When we read The Conference of the Birds, we see our own fears, our own excuses, and our own potential for an extraordinary inner journey. Farid ad-Din Attar wasn't just a poet. He was a guide for the soul. He mapped out the treacherous but beautiful path to self-discovery and divine realization, leaving behind a treasure of wisdom that continues to illuminate the way for all who dare to seek. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the life of a true spiritual giant. If you enjoyed this exploration and want to discover more great thinkers and poets from history, please consider liking this video and subscribing Freedom Mind channel. Your support helps us continue to share these timeless stories. See you in the next one.